From coffee house chats to hard-to-swallow conversations.
Join our journey as we document our everyday thoughts on personal growth, career,
finances, family, and everything in between.
Hey, this is Reynard.
And this is Nika. And welcome to our perspectives.
Hey guys!
Welcome to another episode of
Perspectives.
All right, so we barely made it to this one as well.
Yeah. Why is that? Wait.
I think we've been a bit busier the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Days.
Well, it's because we're opening the second branch of our co-working space,
Right.
which you guys should
Plug.
pay a visit. Free plug.
Yes, and that relates to our topic for today, which is starting businesses. And the official topic, I believe, is do you have what it takes to start a business? Right. Yeah. So do we? But yeah, because some people see maybe what we're doing, and it's like, oh yeah, they're well off or something because they're doing business left and right. And for me recently, I have always been not always, but I've been wondering, like, there's so many of these franchise businesses popping up, like especially those 39, 38 peso coffees, and I'm like, is there so many people starting a business now, or like, is it a lot easier now? Because like, for me before, it was a lot basically harder. Like I didn't really have an understanding. Like franchising was not, I guess, common knowledge. But now everyone seems to be doing it easily. So yeah, I guess we've never done that, right? We went a different path, which we'll talk about in a bit.
Yeah.
Right. And how about you? Like,
well, recently, one of my friends actually asked me, like, are you able to afford the lifestyle that you have? I mean, I certainly do not think that I have like a very luxurious lifestyle, but it's very comfortable as well. Like, I do not buy branded stuff, but it's certainly like I can buy things when I want to.
branded.
Not brand.
Branded. Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to get into that. Well, so my recent experience actually, that question actually made me think. Well, because people actually think that it's the multiple businesses that we own that led us here, right? Because we have the co-working space, we have Augment Digital, which is a digital marketing agency, and what else? You have our
So different businesses and different industries, and we've tried a few that have not worked out.
We actually have we started a lot that are not in non-existence anymore.
For sure.
Because they also failed.
Yeah.
So this like experience actually, going back, I really thought that businesses were the way as well. Like I think it's like people really think that the way to be financially independent is to start a business. But in reality, I mean, at least in my case, it isn't the reason why I am financially independent. So I actually still freelance on the side, which I have a US client that holds the majority of my income. So it is not the businesses that I own, which made me realize one of the things that I encountered during like the first few weeks after I graduated. I actually applied for a job, and then the person who owned that company asked me what he was the one who interviewed me, and he asked me what my future plans are, and I told him that I wanted to start a business of my own, and then he told me that why,
and then
I told him that I want to be rich.
I didn't know the story.
Oh yeah, I didn't tell you.
And then
you know the company vision.
oh yeah, let's keep it. Yeah, you can only endorse brand.
So I told him that I just want to be rich. Because again, I really thought that owning a business is the way to go. But then he told me, as a business owner, he already knows that no. He told me no, it's not. Actually, there's so much risk involved in business that you can literally go broke or go like in so deep debt.
That yeah,
right?
for sure.
So he told me that people are actually better off just most people are just better off climbing the corporate ladder. So made me think. So first, me inside was like, no. I was still doubting. I was thinking, no.
Lying to me. You just want to keep all the money to yourself.
No.
You wacky bitch. I want to be like you.
But like, how many years later? 3, 4 years later, I'm here realizing that my multiple businesses is actually the reason why I'm not as free as I can be if I just focus in my freelancing.
Freelancing or like a high-paying corporate job.
Yeah.
So, if now that, of course, you're in this position, right? And let's say people watch this and there's a similar position that they are already working, they've climbed the ladder a few years, they're working a high-paying freelance or something job. So, for you, in your experience, because you started Productive, and now you have influencer marketing agency as well, Abante.
Abante marketing.
Yeah. So how did you know what it took already at that point to start those ventures?
Well, how did I know? So, I think I just really wanted to start something.
Right.
That's so, like, thinking about, why do I have to start a business if it's not going to pay me, right? If it's not going to give me as much money, why not just get another freelancing job that's going to pay me the same amount? So I double my income. So starting a business doesn't actually give you as much income right away, not in this, maybe in 5 years, 10 years, so long, right? So why dedicate that time? And yeah, it made me think it's really my personality. I want to start something of my own, right? So that's number one. And number two, I am able to start something of my own because I have my freelancing job.
All right. You have the stability of a well-paying job, a consistent
Exactly.
job.
Because if I only have the business alone, I wouldn't be eating anything right now.
Yeah. So for those listening, we are holding a Starbucks cup. That's what we are showing on camera.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the stability, right, is a very important piece. And the fact that you have something allow you to start. And I think, Productive, since technically you're leading it, but I have some part of it, I think it's also it's a mix of circumstance at the time. Meaning our workspace started because the co-working space started because we happened to have an office that we were not using for the agency.
Yeah. So it's more of an opportunity.
Yeah, it was just an opportunity that was there for us to get and try. It wasn't like we're putting all our eggs in that basket and be like, let's go all in, right? That was not the case early on. So yeah, I think that's that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, you started a business like way before I did.
Right.
How? Like, yeah. How about your story?
For sure. Yeah, it's interesting because I look back at it, and if I think about it, I've technically never been employed. And after I graduated, technically, now I am kind of
freelancing.
Yeah, so it's mixed. But yeah, if we think about it, I was not employed. But if you think about it further, I guess on a more technical basis, I was employed for like 2 years before I graduated and before I started Augment through my freelancing, right? So technically those were jobs, and it's a relatively steady job because I worked for one of those clients for like 2 years, right? So that was technically a job already.
Okay.
So I think I had the same kind of like situation where I was already earning, I had some experience already, then I started something. I guess the difference is that since it was freelance, right, I knew that there was a growing demand for my services, right? And I decided to go take that freelance opportunity and grow it into an agency, which is now, to add people, and it becomes a business, right? Because now it can start running without you. Because freelance technically is like you're doing all the work, right? So like
it's like a business, but you're the team.
yeah, exactly. So freelance is still a business. It is like for those freelancers out there, you have a business for sure. But you take it to the next level. If you turn it to an agency, you have team members, you run an operation. So for me, I knew I had what it take to get there because people were already asking me if I could take on
do more,
even if they knew I wouldn't do it for them anymore. Like I told them I'm at capacity, so like
you, Reynard, but
I can't do it anymore. But I feel like we can start. I can start building a team. I can find a way to make it work, right? Especially because my early clients were people I was collaborating with very closely, so they didn't really mind. Like, we were in the same groups and stuff, so I was very transparent. And they're like, yeah, sure. I'd rather trust you to manage that team than I would build a team of my own myself.
Okay.
Right. So that kickstarted the agency, and that started that business. Right.
Wow. So it started just as a client need.
Yeah, demand.
But did you think before that I really wanted to start something on my own? Kind of like what we call business minded then.
No, for sure. Because
really?
Yeah, no, because I don't come from a family of business people. Unlike people think I do. Like they see me in college and they're like, oh, this guy is like some
amazing
Chinese business. I saw myself too well, but my family has. I mean, maybe far off, but direct family. My mom worked in bank and worked in government. My dad worked in bank also for a bit. So
wow.
I was not raised knowing that we had the business, how to be entrepreneurial.
Okay.
My mom is allergic to entrepreneurship. She's there. He's like, because there are times I remember after that when I already started something, I tell her, why don't we start a food business and stuff? And she's like, yeah, but then we never get started, right? But then I realized over time, that is really not something for everyone, even if they say they want it, or so that's another topic. But yeah, I did not come from an entrepreneurial background, so I really just gave in to the demand.
New information for me.
Yeah, I know. I was like, start a business. No, I was like, I'll make money, however that looks like. And if there is more opportunity to make money, I'll just solve the problems on the way. So I'm more of a problem solver, I guess. That got me to there.
Oh, so that's a personality.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense because the client kind of presented you a problem. Hey,
yeah.
I need more suppliers.
Yeah, I need more help.
That was my demand.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, let's solve that by building a team around it.
That's so interesting. Okay, so our personalities are, I guess, different that way.
Yeah, because I never dreamed to be like, oh, I'll be a business. Because I don't even understand what a business looks like. It's different for you because you guys had business.
My parents ran a business, so like an IT business.
So you guys you had experience seeing how it worked, client, service, all these things.
Yeah, just like you, my father was never employed for a long time.
Yeah.
Just recently, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's another story in itself. So, I had experience. I already understood that how businesses work. Although it wasn't really a large scale, they were only 2-3 people in their team, and the rest were just contractuals and stuff.
Sure.
So, yeah, that really makes sense.
Yeah. So for me, it was just solving demands as we go, and the business grew, and from there we offshooted to different things because now the income was a bit stable, but most of my experience was primarily in service-based businesses. So I grew from what I had. I did not jump off to a completely different industry or different path line. Technically, I just climbed a ladder, actually. It's just a freelancing ladder of solo freelance and agency. And I started a different agency, right? But I think when we got together, one of the things we started together early on was we tried to get into e-commerce, right? And that was bad. I mean,
so we were really ambitious, and we were thinking big about it. So we invested some money into it, a huge chunk of our money. For some people, it might be a little amount in terms of capital.
For us, at least, yeah.
Yeah, but for us, it
capital
was a
and
huge
time.
chunk.
We were wrapping those boxes ourselves. You didn't work with that.
We did the packaging. Yeah, even mom helped out.
Yeah, my cousins helped, everyone helped. We didn't really work with warehouse. We did everything ourselves. We were really overthinking the packaging. We worked with them and
I signed those cards personally.
Yeah. So we thought it would work out, but yeah. So those were one of the cases that we thought we had what it took to start, because we thought we had what it took because we were starting an e-commerce business similar to some clients we served at the time.
Yeah.
We thought because our thought process was we ran their marketing, we did well. We should be able to do something replicate, with a similar kind of business, and not exactly the same, but similar,
Boy, we were.
But yeah, it's completely wrong, right? We realized after operating that there's so many. E-commerce is a different beast, and not that it's harder or easier than service-based businesses. Each has its own challenges, because service-based is also hard. It's just that you and I had
no experience
zero experience
in e-commerce.
plus e-commerce in the Philippines. Because our experience was e-commerce. We were balling internationally. Like, we could make a store grow from scratch. But, like, the Philippines...
The market is totally
completely different. So, like, I guess that's one of the things that, you need to internalize in terms of, you have what it takes, is that you should have already had some relevant experience in the business. Just like how, example for, I guess, you guys in Abante, like the influencer stuff, technically it's new to you, but you've been in marketing for a while. You're an influencer yourself.
No, there's actually like a thought process why I started like the whole influencer like thing, because it still started with the digital marketing experience. So we're running ads,
right?
We're creating ads, and we know what ads work the best. They are user-generated content.
I see.
Okay, so
Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, so they are user-generated content ads. So, there is demand to these type of ads. There are even agencies that are just working with like content creators, editing them up and just giving them to different brands, right? So, I was thinking, why, like, what makes it so special?
Yeah.
Right? And I know that it works differently. It's like it's also hard to crack, right?
Yeah.
So I started creating content myself, which ones that I just to analyze which type of content actually works, which one gets the most engagement, which ones actually convert and stuff like that. And from that experience, I mean, it's not long of an experience, but I think I've created content for a year. Yeah. August of last year. So I've created content for a year already, and I've had like a few wins, a few like trending stuff, but it made me realize, okay, maybe I already know what it takes to create content that will get like maybe just enough attention, right? And so I wanted to like teach brands how to, not really teach, but help brands how to get influencers and teach influencers how to create that content for that brand.
Right.
Hence, the Bente marketing was born. So, similar to you, it wasn't something completely new to me as well. So, I just knew from my digital marketing experience that UGC, or user-generated content, was needed in digital marketing.
Right.
So,
so unlike our experience with e-commerce, we're like, oh yeah, we think we know because we ran ads for e-commerce, but we have not operated an e-commerce brand. We have not ran an e-commerce marketing campaign in the Philippines. We had no experience at all of this one, and Augment and our relatively successful experiences are those that we had some relevant experience first, and then we went into it. So I think that's a really important piece. Like if you're looking to assess, if you have what it takes to start a business, you ask yourself like, the business I'm about to get into or I'm considering, is it something that I have some experience? You don't have to master it. There's no,
exactly.
You don't need to be a master of it, but like you need to have at least some experience, so that you know what you're doing and you can learn faster rather than someone with completely no experience at all.
Yeah.
Right.
So to try to answer the question, like, do you have what it takes to start a business? Well, let's start to like enumerate what are the things that you have to have or know, right? So initially, again, you said just some experience to whatever industry you're going into.
Yeah. Some, if you came from, if maybe, let's say if you worked in a textile company or something, maybe you start something in fabric or, clothing or whatever it is. So start something. We recommend that when you assess a business and you ask if you have what it takes, you should have had some experience. And if you do not have experience, right, or have very little experience, that's where kind of like having the time to learn it matters, and which is number 2, right, which is making sure you probably don't leave your main income source or job immediately just to start a business.
Yeah.
Make sure you
don't leave it yet.
Yeah, don't leave it yet. You should probably, especially if it's a business that you're starting that's new, especially that, you gotta give yourself time to learn it, and that if it fails, you will live. Because, I think in terms of business, it's a numbers game. It's a game of like consistency, persistence. your goal is just not to have no more chances, which is you should put yourself in a position that you can try again. But if you put all your eggs in one basket, which sometimes works out, there are success stories like that, but that is the 1 out of 10. 9 times out of 10, you start a business, you're gonna fail. You want to be able to get back up, learn, try again, and you cannot do that if you do not have a kind of like a main income source that's still running.
So this is actually just trying to relate it to some people who are actually fortunate enough, who are still maybe like supported by the parents. So like you also started freelancing, not letting go of your college, but that was also a good opportunity for you because you were supported by your mom.
Yes.
So this is actually still applicable to people who are not necessarily working, but if like you are supported by your parents or then you can still start.
Yeah.
Right?
You should start. You should.
The perfect.
Yeah, you should make the most out of the support. And get to be able again to try again. Right. So don't be like, oh yeah, because I wanna be completely independent before I start anything. That's like make the most out of any resource you have in front of you.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Cool. It's number 2. On our list, we have number 3, which is the network. Right.
Network.
That's something we did really discuss, but I think network is the reason why, what do you call this? The e-commerce side failed, I think, because we did not know enough people in the right places to get it going.
Even in logistics, we didn't.
Yeah, logistics, no idea.
Logistics was a big part in e-commerce.
Yeah.
So
we did not have the right people. We didn't have the right mentors to help us, right? So when you, I guess, assess, when you start a business, you got to ask yourself, like, do I have the right network to support its launch? Like, do you know the right people? Do you know maybe a promoter, if it's a product, service? Like, example, maybe I know you've been wanting to go into the music industry. Like, the question, we have to ask ourselves is, are we in touch with the right people to help us, have a good start, right? Because most of this is really businesses, especially in the Philippines, I think.
Yeah.
Business is really a people game. It's a who you know game.
So when I started Abante marketing with my partners, it was actually the network that made it easier to start as well. Because again, I started content creating.
Right.
It was also easy for me to start content creation because I know a lot of friends that are actually content creators themselves. So I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, or 4 people. 4 people who are close to me. And there are also a few who are like people that I know of, right?
Yeah.
So now that I like starting Abante marketing, of course you need to reach out to influencers. It's easy for me to reach out to them because again, they're my friends, right?
Yeah.
And one of the co-founders of Abante is actually an influencer herself. She's pretty known in like TikTok and Instagram as well, and her niche as well. So she already has ideas on how brands reach out to her as well.
Right.
So it was easier for us to build how to like reach out to influencers.
Also, another plus is that since you work in Augment, you were able to test the service also with one of our clients. So it was easy for us to get clients because we already had a network of clients. Yeah. So again, assessing your resources, especially your network, is very important. Like, ask yourself, you might be thinking like, oh, I'm like, what's the word? I am using my friends. No, like, that's opportunity. If your friends are real, they're gonna help you. So it's that conversation. So take a hard look at your network and see like if there's any connections you have that might help you get started, because it makes all the difference on top of the other things we mentioned. Yeah, for sure. Right. That's the third. Yeah, third. 4 says here, capital. Right. So people think you need capital. It's one of the key things that you got to think about before starting. Yeah. So from what people understand, capital is money. Yeah. But it's not necessarily, like, not all the time money. Yeah. Capital could be any resources. It could be time. Right. It could be, what do you call this? Knowledge. It can be money as well. Or it can be all. So for sure,
capital is how much can you put?
Yeah.
How much of your resources, how much of your time can you put? How much knowledge can you put? So in service-based companies, if you're working and you're wanting to start like a service-based company, and you do not have like, of course, enough capital to start, you also have to think about, do I still have time on top of the time that I spend on the company I'm currently working at to start a service-based company?
Right. Makes sense.
So it's not just money. You also have to think about, do I have enough time in my day?
For sure. And like, and with that point, if you do not have the money but you do have the time, like you can start, like you said, a service-based company, because most people will have time. Like if you don't have time, you don't have money, then that's not true. You have time. If you're watching this, you have time. So you just gotta, if you think that you don't have the monetary capital to get started and use your time, start something service-based, because that's easy to get started. It's a low barrier to entry. You don't need to like pull together hundreds of thousands to start a franchise, start like some sort of store. You can just do a service. Whatever you do, you can marketing, there's design, there's so many things. Whatever you're doing now in your current job or whatever you graduated from, you can start a service-based, something, sell what you do. Right? It's very possible. Start there, and that's how you can build up the capital to then start something physical, maybe, or something that's
maybe just expand that service-based company.
Reinvest that money. So you do not necessarily need monetary capital when you're assessing, like, do I have what it takes to start? And also, a key part of all of these, right, that we just discussed, if you are lacking in any of it, example, you don't have the network, you feel like, example me, I feel like I'm very introverted. Like, I do not want to really connect with people and stuff.
You've been better.
I've been a lot better, but it's not naturally me, right? So if I had been more real with myself when I started that business, the business I had before, I should have found the right people to partner with to augment those weaknesses, right? So, for example, if you really want to start like a store or like a physical location because you feel like that's your passion, you have the experience, you have the network, you don't have the money, then you have to find someone who you can potentially partner with that's their strength. Maybe they have the access to capital, maybe they're weak in other areas you're strong at. So finding the right people to partner with is also a very important piece when assessing if you are ready or do you have what it takes to start a business. Now it's not only you, it's going to be you and someone. But very important.
Well, of course, if you know how to do everything, which like most people don't. Most people do not know. Like, of course. But yeah, it's like business actually has a lot of aspects, right? It's better that all of those aspects are covered, but most of the time, one person cannot.
Yeah.
So just start it with the right people. So these people, ideally, also business-minded, also
same
have
values.
Same values as do. They also have probably another source of income that in case whatever business you guys are starting, you don't kill each other blaming this failed, this failed because of you, So so basically having the same thought process is what we discussed earlier.
For sure.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's actually pretty true for me. Like, for example, productive. I really am not the strongest person when it comes to legal stuff, like business permits and everything. I just do not have the capacity to comprehend. Like, I do have a very strong passion when it comes to the hospitality industry. So making people feel like they're welcomed or like stuff like that. Because my mom was in the hospitality industry. So
again, experience, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so I partnered with one of my high school best friends, and he graduated accounting, and he also is knowledgeable when it comes to like legal stuff or law. He actually wanted to become a lawyer, so that's when we found that he just fits the missing piece, right? So he as well is kind of like, he's not really the most what do you call this? Welcoming person. Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe that's not the right. Sorry, Joseph. But he's a bit awkward when it comes to like trying to please people, and that's very important when it comes to the hospitality industry. So yeah, we just kind of have like fit right the each other's missing piece.
Right, for sure. So yeah, so when assessing if you have a start business, assess like what's your strengths, what's your weaknesses across all those things, experience, network, kind of like where you're at in terms of your life and stuff, capital and all that. And then, if you are missing out on certain key areas, then find someone who you can partner with. You don't always have to partner, but, if I were to have a choice, now that we've started multiple things, yeah, definitely I'm going to, I choose to partner with someone on certain ventures because it's not also just the skills, but it's also the kind of like you have more people who would want it to win. You have a bigger network because you share those resources now. So it's more than just the skill side that matters.
Yeah, I think one thing to take note of is that we say partner, not hire.
Yeah.
So it's different when you hire people because, of course, hiring, you'll have to pay them. So you have to pay them. And in reality, in the first few months or years in the business, you're not earning anything.
Yeah.
So if you partner with someone, again, ideally someone who has like another source of income.
Well, it depends, not always because that person is super rich or,
That's not a source of income.
Okay, fine.
Right? Like technically that is still source of income. They can live without the business.
Right.
So, so the point is, I think it's better if you start with a partner rather than you hire someone to help you grow the business that you have or to try to fill that empty spaces because, again, there is risk, a lot of risk, especially at the start of a business.
Right, for sure. Again, it's flexible though. It's not black or white. Depends because like I was able to start Augment without any partners. But look where that got me. We almost closed it. But still, there's some relative success. But again, it depends, right? So you have to really see it case by case. But still, again, if I were asked to do it all over again, I would have partnered properly. So I do recommend that as well.
Yeah.
And I guess our last piece is just do it.
Just fucking do it.
Yeah, just do it, right? So like, do you have what it takes? The answer is most likely yes. Because as you saw, even if you are missing in some of these things, like maybe you don't have the right experience, maybe you don't have the network, you can find people who will help you start there, right? So, there's no real reason not to try it as long as you adhere to that first thing as well, which is, make sure you don't quit your job or like quit your main source of income. If you have some sort of support right now and you have the extra time, you definitely have what it takes to start a business. Just follow some of the things we talked about. And just do it, If you don't have the monetary capital, start with a service, right? If you really want to start a physical business, you need to put in some, like monetary capital and find someone who can help you with that. It's doable. You just gotta get started.
So one of the things that actually, like time, of course, that's easy to find, right? You can just lose some sleep. I'm so sorry, you can lose some sleep. But I think what's very hard, at least for me personally, is that I do not have some experience. So how do you actually quantify some experience? Because that's what people think they do not have enough.
Right.
Most of the time, they do not have enough experience.
To start a business?
On the industry or in the business. Like for example, if I am working in another industry, let's say digital marketing, what if I wanted to start like something very different, something not connected at all?
That's what you just said. Don't do it. Start where you're not connected. And if you do it, the risk just goes up.
Yeah, but I think my point is you could actually try to get some experience at the side.
Yeah, exactly. That's why that's what we said, which is like, don't let go of your main thing. So if you really want to jump into something new, you can do it slowly over time. Right? So don't let go of your main thing. Because some people think, I gotta start a business, I'll quit everything, don't do that. So yeah, I think that's it. I think that's a really nice list of stuff.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening in. I hope that it was helpful, informative, and I hope that kind of inspired you. Not kind of, but I hope it really inspired you to start something of your own.
Yep. Talk to you guys in the next one.
See you guys.